Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, December 7th, 2018. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here is a look at the daily time frame of the ES. What you see here is the previous session. We had quite the rejection off the lows, quite a reversal off the lows, and was able to close in the upper third of the session's day. You see a signal here that comes out, and you see the midpoint right here. That is a very important part of the chart right now. That midpoint basically is the key level there that price needs to close above today. That's 2667 half basically. That is the zone that needs to hold today. You can also see that that is right on top of last year's FOMC key level of 2669. And right now the pullback to that zone is being defended early on. This is very important. After rejection down here at the lows, this is what we talked about yesterday pre-market, was that there's two spots in the chart right here that we need to watch for the ES. We have the short-term area to watch for rejection, which is 2-month lows, and we also have the major LVN and the lows of the year at 25.29. And those are two areas to watch for rejection. Yesterday we got down into that zone, got as low as 26.21 quarter, popped back up and started an aggressive push back toward highs. Not quite as aggressive as tech, but still finished the day quite strong. So this is very important now, because after you see a rejection of this nature, you tend to see absorption off of the midpoint that could lead to another push higher back toward recent highs. And so again, we're seeing that strength. We're seeing bulls come in to defend initially off this low, and that is the point of absorption there between 2660 and 2675, rather 2670 and 2675. That's the zone right there that bulls are going to want to defend here today for a shot at pushing this thing higher in the week that follows. Again, we could bounce back toward 2800, but until we can see acceptance beyond 2825, we're likely going to stay stuck inside this range. And if that happens again, we could be in this range for a little while before we see expansion. But right now, this is a near-term buy opportunity that provides a short-term rise back toward 2775 to 2825. Failure to close above that midpoint today would suggest that we would come down and retry those lows. Very similar to this day over here, where it took out these lows, finished strong. The next day, price pushed right through that midpoint. And when you push through the midpoint like that, odds increase that you're going to take out the low. So are we going to hold this zone today, or are we going to drive through it? Right now in the near term, it appears we are going to hold that zone, but again, we've got to continue to watch 2670 to 2675. That's the zone right now of absorption, and that's going to be the level at play here intraday. If we take a look at the NQ, you see very similar price action, but the NQ actually had much more of a bullish reaction yesterday and didn't quite get a test of the lows. Instead, kind of formed a little bit of a higher low here, almost a 3-point reversal. You can see here, there's the midpoint right there. Again, can price close above that midpoint? That midpoint there is 67.42 quarter, 67.42, and that's going to be a very important zone. Again, we don't have to test that zone, but just staying above it, closing above it, would be very bullish in the near term and would suggest that we could see a bounce back up. Again, this market has continued to form lower highs and lower lows and has not been able to push beyond 7,200 lately, so we're going to have to see if this thing can even get up towards 7K and try to start pushing through that area. Otherwise, any failure to hold that midpoint could again lead to another round of new lows, and then perhaps the market will try again. So right now, short term, very short term, 1 to 5 days out, holding this level right here would suggest 1 to 5 days out we could be pushing a little bit higher here. But we're still not out of the woods here with the overall volatility we've seen and perhaps even the downtrending price action. So we'll continue to watch this zone. Near term, bulls are looking to defend this zone for a continuation higher. If we take a look at crude oil, again, OPEC's been meeting with crude. This one, if you were a part of our monthly market outlook on December 3rd, which was Monday, I mentioned that this could potentially, crude oil could potentially drop back toward $39 into the high 30s. It has not gotten value here, which is 49.17, and OPEC again meeting here, which could change things, but for the most part it's very difficult to see this one going up measurably higher. It really is. We may come up here and take out these recent highs around 55, but if there's no acceptance above 55, we drop right back down to lows. After a major decline like this, after significant selling pressure, if we're not going to go lower or higher, then you usually see digestion of that move, compression of the current price range, and we're starting to see a little bit of that now. Mostly sideways the last couple of weeks after heavy selling pressure the prior 2 months. So again, failing to get back above 55s would suggest we are still in a bearish down move, and we could continue to see sideways to down action unless 55 is crossed and held. All right, taking a look at gold. You'll notice here gold has tested the 1250 zone, getting as high as 1249.90 yesterday, and then backing off that level. We are holding above the previous month's high price. That's that blue line right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 days above it right now. And if this fails to get above 1250, all of those late longs likely jump ship here, and we could see a little bit of a pullback by some degree. How much, how far, who knows? But perhaps back toward 1220 could be an easy call here. That's about 25, 26 handles from where we currently are. And that would still put us in the same framework that we've been in this entire time, which is kind of this rounded bottom development, 1250 to 1245 across the highs. We could easily see a failure here that pulls us back to 1220s, and then again that could be another opportunity to try and get this thing higher. So again, we continue to see great signs of accumulation in gold, and eventually above 1250 could open up a move as high as 1360 down the way. Let's take a look now at RTY. RTY did take out its recent low, did it pretty handily as well, got into the LVN down below, and if you look at the longer view of this, you can see right here about 1420, 1418. That's a major area of support. It's also the lows of the year. Price got very close to taking out those lows for the year, and got into the LVN here, got below value on a composite basis. This is the value low, that's the value high, and this is value. And so in doing this and getting this low, it suggests that we could see a near-term bounce opportunity. Again, we got to be able to hold the midpoint here of the previous session's midpoint. That midpoint right there is 1465.70, so call it 1465s. It's also where the previous month's low is, and that's a zone right now that's being defended today in overnight and pre-market trading. That area right there, again, if it holds, provides a bounce opportunity back toward value. So that could be a short-term bounce opportunity. Again, over the next 1 to 5 days, perhaps over the next 1 to 10 days, it could offer a bounce back toward value. That's 48.5. So 1548.5. So from this zone here, can bulls keep this area bid? If so, there could be, a 5 to 10 day move back toward 1548.5. Again, until price can really break that trend or find acceptance back above 1600 to 1620, this market is still inside this range and still has the potential to go much lower. But in the very short term, holding the zone suggests that we could see a little bit of a relief rally back toward 1540s. All right, lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin, down 7.3% today. Again, ahead of this drop here, we knew that any failure of 6K would likely open up 4,400. Once we got to 4,400 and through it, I mentioned, well, any pullback to it could be a selling opportunity back toward 2,100. So the next key level down is 2,100. We'd hit new lows here today, getting lows as low as 32.55, and still more downside could be ahead. This is the 2,100 level. That's the level we've been talking about there. A great Pima pullback here, and we could still be looking at much more weakness ahead. This thing is in a free fall right now, and until price can get back above 4,400, we have more downside price action ahead toward 2,100. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Happy Friday. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.